All right, folks, it's time for more New Cats. Time for more New Cats on the blog. In NCAA 04, we're getting right into our off-season following the 2017 campaign. I believe it's 2017. It's hard to keep track of the years, man. I'm telling you, it's really hard to keep track. And, of course, we're losing a ton of people. Just a ton. Everyone you can think, they are leaving. A lot of 99s and several other 90s overalls. They're all leaving. But as you can see, we don't struggle with recruiting. We never have, we have, but in the 2010s, we have not struggled with recruiting. We always have a slew of five-star blue chips coming to the team. So we do not rebuild, we reload, son. Let me tell you that much. And of course, we top off recruiting number one in the nation. Rice and UAB are second and three. What is going on in college football? Miami is still here in the top five. It's kind of interesting to see Miami still be like a perennial, like good team and contender. Given real life history. But Ohio State, a conference member here, comes in at 13. The Big Ten is just getting worse over the course of this dynasty, and Air Force drops to 18. They'll probably still be good because they always are. Michigan is here at 22. And then Western Michigan at 24. And then Nevada rounds things out at 25. So kind of a weird top 25 in terms of recruiting. We're, of course, at the top because we always will be, but it's weird to see the Big Ten get worse and worse. You didn't see any Wisconsin. You didn't see Purdue. That's kind of weird, just to see that the conference is kind of getting worse. I mean, it's good for us because in all of this dynasty building that we've done, I've only won the conference, I believe, 2 times. So yeah, I've been putting on I have my little, my little Excel spreadsheet that I keep right beside me when I record these, as I've mentioned in previous videos. But yeah, I think we've only won the conference twice. So, if the conference is going to get worse and give us a opportunity to maybe win a couple more before this little 20-year project is up, then that would be awesome. So, I'm not gonna worry too much on that, I guess. I would just like for it to happen, because the Big Ten realignment with divisions and stuff is not gonna happen in this game. How the league is structured, or how college football is structured, is how it's gonna stay structured. So we really are in the most prime of positions to get as many conference titles as we want, and we haven't really capitalized on that. There's always at least 1 or 2 games in our schedule that trip us up every single year. Last year, it was the Penn State game. It did not prevent us from winning the Big Ten, but it prevented us from going to the national title game because of how rankings in this game is weird. In real life, that probably would have dropped us to maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4, but by the end of the season, we probably still would have been in a good position to get the nod. But, it is what it is. We will take another victory, another bowl victory, and we have not lost a bowl game since 2010. 2010 is our last loss in a bowl game, and that was the Capital One Bowl against Ole Miss. Remember, we played Ole Miss like twice in short succession. Within 3 years, we played Ole Miss twice in the Capital One Bowl, I believe. So it's kind of funny. So we are moving on ahead now to the next season. If you've noticed, I don't really focus too much on the cutting of the players and the roster realignment because, it just is what it is at this point. There's not too much to look at. The roster rotates every single year. We're losing a bunch of guys and also getting a ton of guys. So looking at the schedule, it's one of our easier schedules. We come into the season ranked number 6th. Which I don't think I kept track of where we were last year. But normally we're ranked pretty high, so maybe they might be a little bit down on us. Maybe they know something that we don't. Either way, we start off the season with a massive victory on the road against Stanford, 41-13. We were never going to lose to Stanford because it's us. And that takes us back to Michigan, to Central Michigan, to play the Chippewas, and we beat the snot out of Central Michigan yet again. I think this is a similar schedule to one we had a few years ago. The schedules, I think, eventually just kind of repeat, so you're going to see familiar ones. And another massive 30-plus point victory for the Wildcats as we beat Oregon 41-3 and then put 60 on Clemson's head in Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. We absolutely dog walk them. on the road. So it's a rough start to the season for those teams, but it's a great start for us as we head into our grudge match against Ohio State. We're 4, they are 5, and we beat them pretty handily in the shoe yet again. We've done that a few times now in this dynasty, and we hang on to 5-0. That puts us in a great position for the conference, but we have our gauntlet of conference games ahead of us. We're starting off strong, beating Minnesota with a massive 49-12 victory, and Indiana still just holding on to just one win. I think this is probably the third or fourth straight year they've only had one win going into our matchup, but we are on the road here, so who knows. And the Hoosiers managed only just one touchdown against our defense as we are looking posed for another national title run here if we can just kind of lock in as we go on the road to play the Kentucky Wildcats. It's a battle of Wildcats, but we emerge victorious. I don't know when the last time we played Kentucky in the regular season, but we, of course, have a long history with them in bowl play. And Wisconsin, man, there it is again. Wisconsin trips us, beats us by 1 point, effectively probably shatters our entire season. That might prevent us from winning the conference because Wisconsin's also 8-1. So unless Wisconsin loses another game, that probably seals the Big Ten right there. So we get right against the Boilermakers on the road as we crush Purdue 46-21, and then followed up with a revenge game, I guess, against Penn State, who ruined our season last year. We held them to just 3 points at home, and then we beat the 25th ranked Michigan Wolverines 45-16, another massive victory over the Wolverines. And we're getting closer and closer to the top 5 here, but we are still just outside. And we put 77 on Illinois. I think that is a dynasty record, 77 points, as Illinois falls to 1-11 on the season. And I wasn't paying attention to Wisconsin here, but I don't think the gods are going to look favorably on us. But we do win a Receiver of the Year trophy, which makes sense, man, because we were scoring points left and right. The fact that this team is not going to play for a national title, most likely, is just criminal. As we also win Quarterback of the Year, dude. This is probably our best offense to date. I mean, I don't know. We have crazy seasons every year. We even win the Maxwell Award, dude. We're just collecting hardware. And if we don't play for the national title, dude, oh, what a crime. What a freaking crime. We get 2 guys on the team with Heisman votes here. Not really like anything massive, but they're on there, and there it is, man. We have to play Kentucky. We already beat in the regular season. We're going to play Kentucky in the Capital One Bowl. So it's our first time going to the Capital One Bowl since 2014 when we beat Ole Miss. As I was just talking about, we played Ole Miss. So we're going to simulate this game because we obviously don't need to watch on the Capital One Bowl, especially against Kentucky. We already beat, and we beat Kentucky for the second time this year, 38-13. And there you go. There's our trophy. Our probably 4th, 5th Capital One Bowl trophy in this dynasty. I have no idea how many that is. I think it's probably like 4 or 5. I think over the course of this whole entire thing. That's where we're sitting. So, dude, I'm struggling to find the words. I think when I recorded this, like, it got to the point where I was just, like, so pissed off. Like, dude, what's it going to take? Like, I have the best team in the game. We're scoring 40-plus points a game, averaging probably 45. And, you know, it's just one game every single freaking year. One game every single year. Last year it was Penn State. In the early part of the dynasty, it was always Ohio State or Wisconsin. And this year it was Wisconsin. And it's just like, you know. And I was commenting how neither of these teams are really recruiting all that well, but we still get tripped up. So Virginia Tech and Air Force is your national title game, and Air Force wins another national title. So as I go down here and scroll to all of our bowl games, the national titles, I've been keeping track of who is winning what. Air Force wins their second one in 5 years, I think is what this is. But real quickly, looking over our All-Americans here, Jason Williams, our quarterback, has an amazing season, 50 touchdowns. I need to look that up. That's got to be a record, right? That has to be a record. Single season record, 50 touchdowns? It has to be. Benjamin Lee, the receiver here, puts 1,300 yards. I mean, that's a school record for sure, right? Like, these are all school records. Yeah, this is like the best offense. Oh, God, this really makes me mad that we didn't manage to capitalize on this season, bro. I mean, hopefully these guys are here again. I don't think the quarterback will be because a lot of these guys are seniors who just finally touched the field. And, I mean, hey, maybe that's where we screwed up. Maybe these are the guys who should have been playing for the last, 3-4 years. But I don't know, man. Absolutely crazy stuff as we get All-Americans on the first and second team here all around. Chris Carty actually has kind of like a similar season, doubles his touchdown numbers, but kind of has a similar season to last year and gets the nod here. And then we have a tight end also getting All-American honors. I don't know if we ever had a tight end get All-American honors. Probably have like once or twice, and I just have not noticed. But heading back to the national title wrap as it goes. So that is Air Force's third national title victory. They've won 3 national titles over the course of this dynasty. Just, that's, I know we're focused on us, but like that's just, you need to know that Air Force has won 3 national titles. And what's even grosser is how many they've been to. They've been to like 6 or 7 over the course of this entire thing. So we've only managed to win 2. We're getting outpaced by Air Force. I want you to know that. And I won't say too much, but from recording this, knowing how the series is going to end, it gets so much worse. It gets so much worse. And it's actually not even that weird that Virginia Tech was in this one, because Virginia Tech has played in a national title pretty recently. This is actually a rematch of the 2013 national title, actually. Believe it or not, it's a rematch of the 2013. So we will go over stats here as we have a running back put up 921 yards, Herman Duckett, who played last year a little bit. It's his sophomore year. He played a little bit, but he was probably second or third in the depth chart in terms of running the football. Benjamin Lee is like the class of our receiving core here, but we have 3 guys with over 10 touchdowns through the air, but only 1 with 1,000 yards. So the O-line really did not have that great of a year, man. Looking at those numbers, that's kind of disappointing. Jonathan Alston has a pretty good year, only allowing 2 sacks, but yeah, everyone else. James Montgomery, geez. That was a horrendous year for him. Good Lord. We probably allowed a ton of sacks. We'll see that number here when we look at the stat rankings. But, yeah, I'm curious to see where the shortcomings for our team was because, I mean, I know these numbers are going to be literal video game numbers. Our quarterback threw for 50 touchdowns, dude. We put 77 points on Illinois. Like, what are we doing if we're not winning a national title in that year? This is like the 2015 Ohio State Buckeyes, like all over again, dude. Like this is just an insult to everyone watching, to me, to the fans of Northwestern, however many of you there are. But yeah, so John Cook is like the class of our defense so far this year. But Mitch Skinner, the defensive tackle, leads the team in sacks at 8. And then for picks here, Tim Brandon, who was an All-American, leads our team with 8 picks. So 8 is our magic number, I guess, across the board. And 8 pass deflections, there you go. But Sam David, our outside linebacker, actually records 19 pass deflections. That is freaking crazy. On top of 84 tackles, that dude was everywhere. This dude was a menace to offenses everywhere. He was an absolute menace to passing games all over the country. So we played all over the country, dude. We were in Stanford. We were in Michigan. We were, playing Kentucky. We were all over. So another bad field goal season. We will pin it all on him. But no, we will figure out where the shortcoming for this team was through our stat rankings. That's going to tell all, I guess. Maybe. I'm hoping it does. Because I'm genuinely curious. Our defense didn't allow any points, so we didn't play bad defense. Obviously, our offense was good as we beat every team by 30. But I mean, maybe it's turnovers. And then here we go. Looking here, all these stats, first or second year across the country. Rushing yards per game is always a low stat for us. It is what it is. We did allow a ton of sacks. We were pretty low in that margin here. But other than that, the numbers are about where they should be. And on defense, we have a lot of top 10 stats across the board. In terms of the country, we have the best defense in the Big Ten, hands down. Efficiency might be where we're failing, I guess. But it's kind of like that thing, you can't get tricked by the stat where it's like, oh, because your percentage was low, that's a bad stat. But if you didn't have a lot of third down attempts or fourth down attempts, you know what I mean? Because like we scored probably a lot on a couple plays, so we can't really be tricked by that stat here. So it probably doesn't matter for us, the percentage, the efficiency here. But looking at the rankings, Air Force tops things out. Nebraska slides in at 2 above Virginia Tech. We're here at 4. New Mexico State's behind us at 5. Weird. Miami's at 6. UAB, who was 3rd in recruiting, finishes 7th in the country after losing their bowl game. Wisconsin, another conference member, comes in the top 10 after beating us this year. Ohio State moves up to 14. And then Oklahoma, who had pretty big aspirations, drops to 18. Colorado State, the defending champs, finished 19 after losing their bowl game. Rice, who is second in recruiting, comes in at 20. And then UCLA slides into the rankings at 24, with Arkansas rounding us out at 25. So that is how your top 25 is going to shake up. And we are now going to move on ahead here. I'm not entirely sure what I was trying to do as far as bowl results go. We already looked, but yeah, we're going to move on to the final standings here and take a look at how the conference shook up. Obviously, I think it's a safe bet to assume that Wisconsin, yeah, there they are, 7-1. We finished 7-1 as well, but the one loss we have is to Wisconsin, so obviously they win. This year we have 4 Big Ten teams finished with double-digit wins and 2 that finished with double-digit losses, as Indiana and Illinois. Both have terrible seasons. Other than that, the Big Ten's about what you'd expect. The teams, I thought maybe it was going to get worse, but clearly the Big Ten is still on its BS, being as tough as ever. So hopefully you are in the next video here as we cover the next season in a very long list of seasons. So hope to see you there.